They say the house is empty. But Emily knew, the moment she stepped through the door, that something inside was still alive. It all started as a joke, the kind of stupid dare that only sounds brave when you're re-sitting around a campfire with friends. The Ashwood house had been abandoned for nearly 30 years, ever since the Cole family vanished one October night without a trace. No one knew where they went. The furniture was never moved. No new owners ever appeared. The town simply let the place rot. But when her best friend Ryan dared her, "Bet you won't last 10 minutes inside," Emily couldn't resist. So on a cool autumn night, flashlight in hand, she found herself at the edge of the cracked driveway, staring up at the dark silhouette of the old Victorian house. Its windows were black holes. Ivy crawled up the sides like veins. The front door hung slightly ajar, swaying with each gust of wind, as if it was beckoning her in. 10 minutes, Ryan called from the gate, his voice shaky but teasing. "If you make it, we'll call you fearless." Emily smirked. "You'd better have the camera rolling." And with that, she stepped inside. The air was heavy, thick with dust, and something much older smelled like damp earth and rusted iron. Her flashlight beam sliced through the darkness, revealing torn wallpaper, shattered glass, and photographs on the wall that had long since faded to gray. She scanned the living room. The furniture was still there, a couch draped in white sheets, a piano missing half its keys, and a chandelier dangling precariously from the ceiling. Every footstep echoed in the suffocating silence. She started the timer on her phone 10 minutes. Then, with a nervous laugh, she called out, "Hello, Mr. and Mrs. Cole. Anybody home?" Silence. Then, from somewhere upstairs, a faint thump. She froze, her breath catching in her throat. The sound came again, slower this time, the unmistakable rhythm of footsteps. "Probably just a raccoon," she muttered, though her voice betrayed her. She aimed her flashlight toward the grand staircase. Dust motes danced in the beam as she began to climb, each step groaning under her weight. The upstairs hallway stretched out long and narrow, lined with portraits all of the same family, a mother, a father, and a little girl in a white dress. But something about the very last portrait stopped her dead in her tracks. The girl's face looked freshly painted. Her eyes, unlike the faded ones in the other portraits, were sharp, a piercing, glistening blue. Emily leaned closer, her curiosity overriding her fear. "That's not possible," she whispered. And then it happened. The little girl smiled, not in the painting, but in the reflection cast by her flashlight. Emily stumbled backward, nearly dropping the light. She glanced at her phone, knowingly, for minutes had passed. Her heart was hammering against her ribs, but she wasn't ready to bolt. Not yet. She had to prove she could do this. Taking a deep breath, she pushed open the nearest door. It was a small bedroom, a nursery. A mobile of paper stars hung from the ceiling, turning almost imperceptibly. A wooden cradle sat by the window, shrouded in shadows. She found herself walking closer, drawn by an invisible pull. Inside the cradle lay a small porcelain doll. Its head was cracked, and one of its glass eyes was missing. She picked it up carefully. That's when the door slammed shut behind her. Her flashlight flickered, casting the room in strobing, frantic light. Then a soft lullaby began to play, a music box tune, slow and warped, echoing from somewhere in the room. Emily spun around, searching for the source, but there was nothing. Just the cradle, which was now rocking back and forth, all on its own. She dropped the door. It hit the floor with a sharp crack, and from inside the shattered porcelain, something small and white rolled out, a baby tooth. Just then, her phone buzzed and minutes were up. A wave of relief washed over her. "Okay, time's up," she whispered shakily. "I'm out." But when she grabbed the doorknob, it wouldn't turn. It was locked solid. She rattled it, pulled harder. Nothing. Then she heard it, a faint, chilling voice, right behind her ear. "Don't leave me." She whipped around, her flashlight beam shaking wildly. The light landed on the wall, and she watched in horror as letters began to scratch themselves into the decaying plaster, one by one. "Stay with us." Her flashlight flickered one last time and died, plunging her into total darkness. And in that blackness, she heard breathing. It wasn't hers. It was heavier, closer. Then came a sound that would haunt her forever, a child's giggle. Emily screamed, a raw, primal sound, and threw her entire body against the door. It burst open, and she sprinted down the hall, her footsteps echoing wildly. The house seemed to twist around her, the hallway stretched into an impossible length, the staircase contorting beneath her feet. The faces in the portraits she ran past now had their eyes gouged out, their mouths smeared with what looked like red paint. She stumbled into the living room, panting for air. The chandelier above her began to sway violently, its broken crystals clinking together like manic laughter. The front door was just ahead, a rectangle of beautiful, safe moonlight. She ran for it. Just as she crossed the threshold, something icy cold grabbed her wrist. She looked down and saw it, a pale child's hand, clutching her. It was attached to nothing. She screamed and yanked her arm free, stumbling out into the yard and collapsing onto the grass. When she scrambled to her feet and turned back, the front door slammed shut with a deafening, final bang. Ryan came running up the driveway, his face pale, his eyes wide with terror. "What the hell happened? You were gone for half an hour." Emily stared at him, trembling, confused. "No, my timer went off. It was 10 minutes. He showed her his phone. The screen read 12:37 a.m. She'd gone in at midnight. The next morning, Ryan sent her the video he'd recorded from the gate. The footage started normally. It showed her entering the house, the door creaking shut. 10 minutes passed on the time stamp, then 20, then 30. At the 31-minute mark, the front door slowly opened on its own. Ryan had zoomed in, expecting to see Emily emerge. But what stepped into the doorway wasn't Emily. It was a young girl in a white dress. She looked directly at the camera, and she smiled. Then the feed cut to static. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more chills. We'll see you in the next one. Stay safe out there.